smartphone use for our children, and how do we curb it? Thousands of parents across the U.S. are pledging to wait until 8th. The pledge delays a smartphone until at least the end of 8th grade and no social media until at least 16 years old. It suggests getting your kids a basic phone with no internet access to start. Our next guest is one of those parents supporting the pledge, supporting these ideas to keep the phones away from our kids as long as possible. She lives in Florida. She's a mom of 2, and her name is Leah Del Percio. Leah, thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. We were just chatting during the commercial break. You said even just flying up here, it's hard not to give your child your phone or an iPad. And when you're on a plane, you see all the children with their iPads.
Yep. Or in a restaurant. That's another great example. They're on headphones and on an iPad.
Yeah. What's your biggest concern?
So my biggest concern, you know, I run a tech company myself, and I didn't think I'd be one of those tech CEOs that doesn't let their kids see screens, but it's coming up to be that way. You know, I think social media has been around long enough to know the fallout from it, which is, you know, the addiction to screens that kids have and the dopamine hit that one gets when they're on social media and getting text messages and having to respond to things like that. That, to me, I just don't want to expose them to that, to my children at such a young age. So for me, it's more about limiting it now, having moderation. If we're on a long flight, sure, they can play a game on my phone, but making it so that they don't have their own online presence and their own device is really important to me.
What's your opinion about Wait Till 8th? This is an organization, they started in Texas a few years ago, and moms and dads, schools all across the country are now signing this pledge. Probably about 50% of our second grade class at our school decided to sign it, saying we're not going to give our kids phones until 8th grade or the end of 8th grade. We're all going to try to stick to that. They're in second grade now. So what are your thoughts about that, especially with your tech experience?
Yeah, so my thoughts are, I think that's great. I think it should be a decision that parents make rather than something that's mandated. So I love the idea of a pledge where people come together, because there is peer pressure for children to be able to interact with friends, or they get left out. For instance, they don't know about practice, you know, for a sports team because it's in a Facebook group somewhere. I find that myself in not necessarily having social media apps on my phone. So for me, I think 8th grade is a good age. Your brain has developed far more so than early elementary school, but it's not to the point where, you know, I'd wait longer if I could with my own children, but that gets so much harder over time.
Several concerns. Social media. When you're in high school and you're left out and you see pictures of all your friends together and you weren't included, that's hard when you're in high school. At our age, we're more confident.